3, 2, 1.
What's up, everyone? Dan here, Crypto Capital Venture, July 11th, 2018. Can I inject some optimism? Can I inject some positive outlook into the crypto YouTube video space, even my videos? I've covered a lot of bearish scenarios over the last couple weeks because I think it's extremely important to be ready for those types of situations. That's where accumulation is best approached at the lowest levels possible. And so it's smart, it's wise to be ready for those things, right? But I have been noticing some things on the charts as we progress on the daily as well as the 4-hour. But I want to talk about some of these bullish looking signals, at least in terms of the way I look at the charts. And I want to share it with you, kind of get your thoughts as well. But here's what I'm looking at. Here's what I'm looking at on the Bitcoin daily. That's where we're going to start right now. Bitcoin trading 6,366. So let's check it out. So first off, I have some areas highlighted, mainly because really what we look for is momentum in these markets, right? It's probably one of the best indicators, and that's why we use oscillators when I do my technical analysis. But we have the momentum of these wedges, and they really do seem to, kind of follow very similar patterns until they stop following that pattern and a bottom is formed. So that's what I want to talk about first off. So one thing you'll notice is in these wedges, you have these little downtrends, pullbacks, downtrends, pullbacks. And in these areas, what you really see is, and you can probably remember these days when it happens, it's kind of like a very red day. So we had this pullback right here, and it kind of formed a little bottom right there around 8,300 or so. And then we broke that key level of support once here, actually, and then we bounced back above it. But we broke that key level of support again in a daily candle. So it was a pretty big move, right, for just a single day. And we can measure it. 5%, and then following day, another 5%. So 10% in 2 days. That's a lot. The market wasn't feeling good, but it was a pretty aggressive move down to break that previous area of support. So that similar move is what happens kind of over and over again in a downtrend, right? In these downward wedges that we have, and you can see it right here. Here's another one, and let's actually measure what that looks like. We have a price range on that one daily candle of 10% in a day. Very red day, red candle. So if you go back and you look at the charts, you'll see this happen. Just a very singular red daily candle that breaks a key area of support. So what I'm noticing, however, is what happened back in the second bottom is kind of already, it's starting to happen now. I don't know if it's going to continue, but it's starting to happen now because right now you have this bottom, right around $6,300 or so. And you can see we broke it here. We broke it in that daily candle. It was a pretty red day. And then we actually went down a little further. One thing that has happened, however, is we actually broke back above it. It's kind of that first step, and you can really see it on the hourly or the 4-hour. It's that first step in forming a bottom. But we broke back above that area that we broke through. Now you can see going back, that has not happened in this downtrend. Hasn't happened there, hasn't happened there. Obviously didn't happen there because we never broke back above. But so we kind of just formed a new high on the daily. And that's a really good sign. And it's similar to what happened back here because you can see it's not as pronounced, but we broke this area of support right here in this area. We broke down, but then we actually broke back above it and found support there. So really, that's kind of what's happening right now. And what I want to point out before I kind of show you what that might look like on the 4-hour is I want to open up some things. So if we're talking about a possible bottom, now that we have these new highs on the daily, right, and we're actually showing support at previous area that we broke through, one thing I've noticed also on these momentum oscillators is the stock RSI. If you look at the stock RSI where we were right on, April 12th, the day that we had this breakout, this really nice breakout from the second bottom, you'll notice the stock RSI was right around 80. Right now, we're right below 80, I guess you could say, in that 80 area right now, kind of at the same parts of this time frame considering where we are now. Also, I want to point out with where we were on the RSI right around that breakout on April 12th, right around $42 on the RSI. And you can see right now we're right around $44 on the RSI. So in terms of where the oscillators are positioned right now, we're pretty well positioned if you look at historical data for a breakout. And it's very possible. This breakout around 45% off of that second bottom. So a 45% breakout, I'm not saying, I'm just kind of talking here. I'm not saying we're going to get a 45% breakout, but what would a 45% breakout look like? If we had a bull run from this bottom, it would look like testing key areas like the 200 EMA on the daily, and even approaching this second top that we had, this lower high that we had, around $9,800 Bitcoin. So we could be well positioned in terms of some of these bullish signals for a break up. And I want to really quick clear this chart because it's way too messy. So let me remove that. But playing into that whole spiel that I just gave you, let's open up the chart, is what we talked about in a video the other day. This reverse head and shoulders possibly in play. So from this area that we just talked about, once breaking through, now we have support. If we hold support, even trade sideways for a day or two, and then a break up, we'd have a confirmed possible reverse head and shoulders. We would just need to break that neckline and then confirm support at that neckline, right around $6,700. That's a very bullish scenario. And really, you can see it play out pretty nicely on the 4 hour. So on the 4 hour, obviously a shorter time frame, we're looking for a new high on the 4 hour above $6,700 to really confirm that reverse head and shoulders. So you can see support holding right here. This previous area we broke through, which is typical in this bearish downtrend, but we actually broke up back above that area of confluence, right? We had support here, we had resistance here, then we showed some support again at the beginning of July, end of June, and now we're showing support again. So a bounce off of this area, extremely bullish. Look out for it. Not saying it's going to happen, but anticipate it. We've talked about bearish scenarios, so I think it's good to look at bullish scenarios as well. Lastly, on the weekly, you can see us approaching kind of back up on the stock RSI. You see that momentum bringing us back up after the last few days. One thing I'm looking at on the weekly, in particular this week, let's see if we can close a green weekly candle above this previous weekly. Could be a very, very nice sign of a bottom. So those are my thoughts on Bitcoin, some bullish thoughts, right? And let me know your thoughts. Do you disagree with this completely? Do you hate charts? Maybe. If you hate charts, I don't know why you watch this whole video. But those are my thoughts. I wanted to share it with you. Appreciate each and every one of you for watching. I will see you in the next video, and God bless.